My name is Eric Knopp, and I'm the Data Security Program Manager. The most valuable feature of LogRhythm for me is the ability to correlate logs throughout many different log sources. Every different log has a different timestamp, it has a different user, things are in different places. But with LogRhythm, you can take all of your logs from all the different sources and make them relevant to each other. So if you're looking for a user that is doing something malicious, or if you're looking for a computer that is maybe making some calls out to systems they've never made before, you can correlate based on a user attribute or a computer attribute to say, go find me everything that user is doing. Because of the correlation, you can then have alarms and reporting off of multiple log sources. Well, the benefits we see are manifold. Compliance, we have to store logs. We're under SOX control, we're under now New York Department of Financial Services cyber regulations, we're now going to be under, we are under EU GDPR, loads of regulations are coming out. So to be able to store these logs and be able to access them if we need to from an archive point of view is very valuable. On the whole, it's a stable product. Occasionally we do have issues with upgrades. But the support staff has been very helpful. Professional services and support staff have been very helpful with fixing any of the challenges that we've had. For us, because we're a small company with not that many locations, we only have 7 data centers and 7 offices. We haven't had any problems with scale, but we did purchase a company a few years ago, and adding their log sources into LogRhythm did not pose a challenge. We always know that with the system that we purchased, there's a certain limitation of messages per second that we have to watch out for, and we've never gone over that. So for us, there have been no issues with scale. Whenever we've had professional services on site to work through new alarms, to implement a new feature that we haven't used before, they're always very professional, they're always very responsive. They follow up on items that they said they would, which is always good. We're paying them to do a service, and that's always nice that they perform their service. We have had challenges in the past with EU-based support. We're a company, most of this is run out of Dublin and London, and those challenges were overcome by LogRhythm brought their support back in-house. They were using a second-level team to perform the support. But once they fix that, we get great support from LogRhythm. When you open a ticket, they acknowledge that there's a ticket been put in, and then somebody will get back to us. And we also have 24/7 support, so sometimes our ticket can move from the EU to the US, and we have people in the US that are able to take over the tickets, and they seem to be very, very good at managing that. The main challenge with setting up LogRhythm is you cannot just put LogRhythm in and let it run. You have to put some care and feeding into it. You really have to work on them. LogRhythm gives you a lot of standard rules, but some of those need tweaking, and a lot of them do need tweaking, and there's reasons for it. They can create a global rule that would work for maybe 20% of their customers, but everyone needs to go in and actually make changes. You have to have a staff on-prem to be able to know your organization, know what your organization's looking for, and to be able to make those tweaks. So the challenge is with setting up LogRhythm, you don't just flip it on. You work at it. You make sure that you're invested in it. You have to have a team. It doesn't necessarily have to be a full, huge team of people that are working on LogRhythm 24/7. I mean, I'm sure for some financial institutions or some institutions that has to happen. But you need to align resources internally to be able to know the product. You almost have to. It's almost best if you have a first-line support for LogRhythm internally, because you can't always rely on somebody else to fix your problems. You really have to know your system. So taking the LogRhythm training, when we implemented LogRhythm in 2012, early 2012, when we've had other people come on to our staff, I've done a lot of training, but we have had professional services come back and do more internal training. I'm not really sure I can pinpoint any particular area that I see LogRhythm needing improvement. I think they probably need to because a lot of companies are having this cloud-first strategy, where anything that's new has to go into the cloud for some reason or some. So I think, with cloud AI coming out, that's really good. But maybe having more of LogRhythm in the cloud, the possibility of and educating people about how we'd get LogRhythm more into the cloud. Part of the care and feeding of LogRhythm is staying on top of what's coming out in LogRhythm. And I know that their community site has been improved and that they're wanting people to be more involved with the community, but I think making people aware of parts of LogRhythm that are new is very important. We did not have a SIEM solution in place at all. And I was told to go out and look for one. So I did. And LogRhythm definitely came out on top of what we needed it for. And when you go through an RFP process, there's always weighted criteria. And we went through that whole process and started out with 8 vendors, got it down to 2, and then selected LogRhythm. For me, it's relationship, but I want to feel that the product that we're buying is going to be supported, and that we have almost a team behind us that are there. And when we did purchase LogRhythm, we felt that we bought a lot of professional services time to help us implement, and it's not like the sales guy says, "Okay, bye," and never talks to you again and just takes in the money for the license renewal every year. They have customer boards. They have the sales engineers will talk to you and will bring things to the table. They'll come and do a health check. I don't feel like we just bought a product with LogRhythm. I felt that we bought a team. From my experience, LogRhythm's been about an 8. What I was saying before, the care and feeding of LogRhythm is very important. You have to allocate resources. And that's what I've recommended LogRhythm to a few friends and colleagues. To get the best out of LogRhythm, you really have to put the time in.